Senator Bray.
Good morning. My name is Chris Bray. I live in Bristol, Vermont, and I represent the Addison Senate District, which is Addison County, Huntington, and Buell Score.
Good morning, Ginny Lyons, Senator representing Chittenden County, and very happy to be here.
Good morning, Travis Squirrel, Representative Travis Squirrel, representing Underhill and Jericho.
Good morning, it's Carol Odie. I represent the far north end of Burlington.
I don't have the letterhead in front of me, so I don't know who's next.
Go ahead.
I'm
You are
Representative Seth Bongard. I live in Manchester. I represent Bennington 4, which includes the towns of Arlington, Manchester, Sandgate, and most of Sunderland.
Good morning, Representative Mark Higley from Lowell. I represent Lowell, Jay, Westfield, Troy, and Eden. That's in Orleans, Lamoille District.
Thank you all. The first item on business would be to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor, unmuted themselves, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. And the rules have been approved. First item on the two rules we have today is 20P23, Agency of Human Services, Non-Emergency Medical Transportation. And hearing no objection, I believe that the witness on both the rules, which cover similar topics. So hearing no objection, we'll ask the witness to report on both of them, and then we will vote on each one individually. So hearing no objection, second rule is 20P24, dealing with ambulance services. Our Ashley Berliner, are you our prime witness this morning and going to walk us through these rules?
Yes, I am. Ashley Berliner. I'm the Director of Medicaid Policy. It's been a long time since I've seen all of your faces. It's good to see everyone. Today, I have two rules, as you just said, the ambulance services rule and the non-emergency medical transportation rule. Both rules are part of AHS's effort to move all of Medicaid rules under one healthcare administrative rule framework. And so these rules have been adjusted for style to comport with the other HCAR rule formats. And these rules have not been updated for over 30 years. They were originally filed in the fall of 2019, but the rulemaking process was not completed due to the public health emergency and a lack of staff resources. So we did receive input on both rules during that time, both from internal and external stakeholders, including Vermont Legal Aid and the Vermont Medical Society, and the Medicaid Exchange Advisory Committee prior to filing the rules in 2019. And we considered those comments when we finalized the rule and refiled in November of 2020. We did hold a public hearing on January 6th of 2021. There were no attendees. I think people might have been distracted. And the public comment period ended on January 13th, 2021, and we did not receive any public comment. So with that, I will jump into the rules themselves. That's okay.
The floor is yours.
Okay. So it sounded like the first rule you had up was the non-emergency medical transportation rule, which was an amendment to DEVA Rule 7408. And this rule clarifies that it addresses non-emergency transportation only and does not include any ambulance services, emergency or non-emergency. The ambulance services rule is specific to both emergency and non-emergency ambulance services. So we really wanted to clarify that point. It also clarifies that transportation providers must be subcontracted with the brokers and enrolled in Vermont Medicaid. It clarifies the locality of transportation to align with our Medicaid non-emergency medical transportation manual. And it clarifies when transportation is not covered. It also removes reimbursement from rule, which is consistent with what we're doing across Medicaid rulemaking, as that's something that changes pretty routinely, and the administrative rule is not an appropriate venue or form for reimbursement language. Any questions about the non-emergency medical transportation rule?
Right. Anyone have, if there are no questions, Senator Lyons, do you have any, as the chair of jurisdiction, do you have any questions or any comments you would?
I have no questions, but I did submit a form that said that this meets legislative intent, so. And I think you received the email through Charlene.
Yep.
Okay.
This is not typical of the complexity that we have in the variety of rules. And
Chair, Carol Odie has Representative Odie has a hand up.
oh, Senator Representative Odie.
Thank you. Well, I went over the materials, and at the top in 4.225.1, a broker with a contract with Medicaid procures and manages non-emergency transportation for eligible Medicaid beneficiaries. So do you have a role, or do we have a role in seeing what the broker is requiring of the transporters?
I don't know if you're, sorry. I am not sure if you're asking that question of me or of legislative.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So we're happy to provide additional information about the broker. I don't know. I mean, certainly I don't know that information off the top of my head if you have specific questions, but if it's something you'd like us to follow up with, to get more information around the broker, it's all in our Medicaid provider manuals, so we can follow up with that.
Okay, because when I looked further, looking at a qualified provider, the only thing it talks about is the least expensive mode of transportation available and appropriate to meet the needs of the beneficiary is all that's required. I imagine then there's more about the safety of the vehicle and background check of the driver, and
certainly there are transportation services that consist of like buses, which you've probably seen around, so that they can provide transportation to more than one individual at a time versus an individual transport. So when we talk about like least expensive mode, that's often what we're referring to. I have a staff, Danny Fiacco, with me as well, who's the subject matter expert on the rule. Danny, I don't know if you have anything you would like to add.
So we have a non-emergency medical transportation manual that is quite lengthy, that goes into detail about the kind of insurance requirements and safety requirements and contractual requirements that volunteer drivers might need to hold to participate in the program, and a lot of language that's kind of beyond the scope of this rule, but that ensures the safety of the transportation of the members, and also, you know, all of the contractual things that you might think of in terms of that kind of language between the department and then the broker. And then there's also the contract itself with the broker.
the department, which department? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, the Department of Vermont Health Access.
Okay. So you could have a say about what's in the contract between you and the broker that would be above and beyond what Medicaid is requiring?
So Medicaid is the contractor. So Medicaid, the Department of Vermont Health Access, is actually the one drafting the contracts with the brokers.
Okay.
And putting in the terms. So it's one and the same, but just kind of different policy vehicles. The administrative rule is really at the highest level. And then we have the manual, which provides like real detailed information about non-emergency medical transportation that's routinely updated to keep up with trends in non-emergency medical transportation and kind of best practices. And then we have the contract, which is the teeth that describes how payment is made, specific rules around background checks and credentialing, and some of the things that you referenced there related to the specific individual that they must comply with in order to receive payment. So those are kind of the three vehicles that we use. And that's pretty consistent across all of Medicaid. If you think about like any Medicaid service, we have the administrative rule, then we have a manual that gets into like the weeds, and then we have the provider contract, whether it's a medical doctor or a non-emergency medical transportation broker or a physical therapist. That's kind of across the board how we structure our policy at Medicaid.
Okay, thank you very much.
The chair wants to apologize to Anthea Dexter Cooper, who I should have asked to introduce herself, and she's our legislative counsel and keeps us on track when so
Well,
do you and sometimes steps in to suggest the question that we might have wished that we had asked but hadn't asked.
the only thing that I would add to the conversation, and Ashley mentioned this in her introduction, is that comments were provided the first time around that this went through the rulemaking process, and Charlene had provided those. So you do have both the comments and the responses for some some suggestions that were made by Vermont Legal Aid, and I think it was Vermont Medical Service. I might have gotten that acronym wrong, but I think it was VMS.
Thank you. Are there any further questions for the witness? Hearing none, we require a motion to move along.
Mr. Chair, I move that
Senator Bray.
we approve Rule 20P23.
It has been moved that we
It would
approve
be-
Rule 20.
Was it-
Excuse me, but wouldn't it be 24? 20P24? No?
First, we have two rules, P 23
Non-emergency.
Okay, thank you.
and P 24. So we've had a motion to do the first one in numerical order. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay, and the rule has been approved. Now we come to P 24. Is there a
Thank you.
motion? Do we have a motion?
I move we approve
Yeah.
P24 unless Senator Bray would like to beat me to it.
No. I was just trying to help us move along. That's all.
Sarah Lyons has moved that we approve Rules 2320, P 24. There being no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay, and the rule has been approved. Is Charlene, do we have, I do not have my agenda before me. Is there have we completed our tasks for today?
You have
Is there any
completed-
new business?
There are no pending rules, so I'm not sure when the next LCAR meeting is. Maybe March 25th.
Did I space out, Mr. Chair, or did we approve the minutes?
We approved the minutes.
I spaced out, never mind.
We had to have a co-pilot.
After yesterday's 13-hour Zoom day, I'm
That's
kind
all right.
of
You've been zooming too much, Senator.
Yeah, don't feel bad.
So is there been a motion to adjourn?
So I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, Senator Betty has moved that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay, say nay. Thank you very much. We are adjourned. Have a good brief holiday next week. And we probably won't meet, as Charlene said, until later in March.
All right, thank
That's it.
you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
Yep.